Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. We have with us today Albina Zhdanova from Tools for Brokers. We're going to wait a few more minutes to let everyone join in. We're starting on the dot, so let's give everyone a couple of minutes, make yourself comfortable, get in your slippers, get some glass of water, and we will be right with you in a couple of minutes. Let's start welcoming everyone. Welcome, Bayana. Welcome, Jasper. Welcome, Lola. Welcome, Julia. Can't greet everyone by name. There's a lot of you, but welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. As we were saying, we have Albina with us today. She will be discussing bridging and the different fintech technologies that a broker needs when it comes to liquidity and connection to platforms, etc. It's going to be a very interesting conversation on a very hot topic nowadays. We're going to give it one more minute. We have people literally from everywhere, Albina, that are joining us.
Yes, I have just decided to close the tab with the participants because otherwise they will be interested to see. Like I recognize some familiar names. Good to see that, and with some people I definitely will meet the next week at the event in Finance Magnates London Summit. Would be very interesting to hear the feedback there as well about the webinar. But as Andrea said, we decided to go with a hot topic at the moment. Everyone is talking about that, and it's been enough of time, I think, to reflect a little bit on what's been happening and what can happen in the future. So very, very interesting to have these conversations with you, those who are going to the events the next week, to have your opinion about the changes and the future as well.
Most certainly, it's definitely going to be. Sorry.
It's like every week now, maybe every second week, it's the new news to talk about. So let's hope not that many big events, shaking events this week, so we can at least sort out the things that have been happening so far within our FX industry, crypto industry, and beyond that.
Indeed. It's definitely going to be a very discussed topic next week at the Finance Magnates London Summit, for sure. I know that definitely the leaders panel will have a lot to say about it. So it's 3:03, 1:03 in London. So we're going to go ahead and get the show started. So welcome, everyone. And as I was introducing, I'm going to officially introduce you now. Albina, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have somebody executive like you that is at the center of this debate, right? Being able to discuss with us this kind of topic. So we really look forward to your insights. And yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about you, your position, what's your role at Tools for Brokers, and what you guys do in general. And then I will start with the topic.
Of course. So my name is Albina Zhdanova. I'm Chief Operations Officer at Tools for Brokers. Been with the company now for 10 years, celebrated 10 years this October. It's never been the same company though, because we started as a small startup with 14 people. Now we have around 150 in 4 or 5 different countries. And I'm myself now based in London, but you know us and our teams in Singapore and in Cyprus and Limassol. So we are doing software for financial markets, specifically, as I describe it, to like just anyone, not only within our industry, connecting the trading platforms with the exchanges. But of course, when you do that, when you're providing the bridge, you end up doing a lot of reports, a lot of regulatory tools, a lot of risk management tools, and expanding the possibilities of those trading platforms with some additional products that we put up on the trading platforms, such as money management systems, or the money management. And I think a lot of risk tools and regulatory reports is one of the most common add-ons to the bridging integration that we provide for the brokerage companies.
Right. Thank you, Albina. So your role as a bridge is to connect the technology of the broker that is used for trading to the liquidity providers, and at the same time enable some risk management systems so that the flows go the right way and the broker has full control over the whole activity that happens in their system. So I'm going to go right into it. And I'm gonna ask you, because we all know the turbulent times that have been happening in the last few weeks. It has been a very challenging time for, I'm guessing you will confirm, for technology providers, bridges such as yourself, brokers, etc., with the new ban that Apple did on the Apple Store for the MT4 and MT5 trading platforms. MT4 and MT5, everybody knows, as per the survey that Finance Magnates ran a few months ago, it's used by 95% of the users. So it's widely the most common platform out there for trading. And I'm guessing these had a very, very big impact. And now a few weeks after, we can probably step back a little bit and evaluate what has been the impact on this. You, since you're in your position as a bridge connecting this technology to the liquidity providers, and you're in connection with all the actors concerned in this, can you tell us a little bit what's your analysis of the situation?
Yes, I will start with the event and the news itself. I think it is the reaction in general in market was the same as it happens in the retail financial segments as well, that the biggest problem, what happens when the news like that coming out, is uncertainty, because you don't really know what will happen in the next coming days and what your actions should be. So deciding and acting in the moment when you don't know what will exactly be happening and any scenario is possible is the most distracting, destabilizing situation where the brokerage company is being put in. And of course, they started to look for the alternatives, for the options, for the plans, because even if everything would be resolved in a quick time, you need to be straight away prepared for the like having plan B and plan C, what to do if something like will be happening. We also know that some of the white label companies like the MetaQuotes had a statement about the white label companies that they will not be onboarding those that doesn't have the regulation and so on. And that of course affected as well some of the companies, so the companies that we were planning to start up the company. And we've seen a very, very big interest to add either alternative platforms and pushing more for the companies that have their own platforms, their own development team to push it forward. But what I'm thinking as well that we're living and the situation is building up. They're not just happens overnight, because those platforms, they existed already, because there is specific demand. The generations are changing as well. So maybe the new generation of traders, they expect to see other types of products, or they want it to be to look different. Maybe they wanted to have in the, I don't know, night mode. It's maybe super important, like different things might be important for different type of clients and type of traders. So I think the situation was building up. It didn't just happen overnight, but it's been keep going and keep talking like that, one thing on another. And just this one event, it triggered that the actions should be done now, and that's what brokerage companies started to do. They started to consider, because before that there was not enough push to actually do something, and now this was that exact push.
I was actually going to ask you, because you're in touch with a lot of brokers that get the bridging services from you, etc. I'm guessing that you have seen some action, some movement, some reaction to these news specifically from the broker side.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so some of the brokerage companies, they decided to like move over completely, and they've been looking for the tools, if we can help them as a technology company to transfer all the database they have to the new platform. Some of the brokers decided to like, keep things as it is, but to add one more platform. And those who wanted to start the company, most of them decided to go with the alternative options. And we also started to work with several companies as well that do provide the technical platforms. At the moment, we integrated with 2 of them. I will mention later, and we will be adding 2 more, because I think, as the name of this webinar is, to have multiple platforms is the way to go in the future, and most likely what we will see happening in the future.
So that is your message to the brokers, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, that you need to protect yourself and have these plans and be prepared and see more opportunity in that rather than a problem, because each turbulence gives us the same, like the problems and the new opportunities. So to see that there is something new that you can, yes, it will need some time and investment from your side, both intelligent investment and financial investment to expand the services, but that can actually bring you to something new. Plus, we can't really define what exactly will happen. It might be because the traders in the end decide where they want to trade and where they feel more secure. Maybe it will turn out that MetaTrader, they have like the very big share, 95%, so it will not disappear straight away. Maybe it will be the sign of the quality as well, that if the broker have that means like they passed the very straight through due diligence from the companies. So I would think that keeping multiple options is definitely what's needed to be done. I wouldn't though jump onto developing straight away your own platform, like consider the time. It's not that easy thing to do. Better to go with those who have professional teams who've been doing that for many years and can,
because once you have your business already set with your technology, and we have a lot of brokers watching us today, so I'm guessing that they're very, very interested on what is being said in the industry at this stage. Once you have already your operation set and established, it's always a very challenging industry for a broker, because there's a lot of different parts of the technology that combine. So there is the regulators, obviously, there is all the operational side of things, there's the payment side of things, there is the technology side of things. So there is always something happening, but technology, the fintech part of being a broker, has always been the most stable one, in a sense that there hasn't really been any issues, because it's a very well established industry. And now we're opening up the option, like you're suggesting, that maybe brokers would need to have more than one platform, as to not put all your eggs in the same basket, right? So, yeah. But it seems like a very challenging thing to do. I'm thinking about it, and if I had a broker and I would need to integrate it with another platform, it's not something that is fast or quick. Like, how would they go about it?
Yeah, you're right. The easiest it would be for the completely new company, because you're starting from the scratch. When you have already some of the platforms and operations running on one platform, one of the first things to think of would be the same team completely that will have more tasks on them, or it will be completely separate team, and you need to build the whole new department that will be running just with new platform. From our experience, those platform providers, they are very helpful as well. And you don't need to, like, it's not as heavy as it might look. There is a philosophical quote, I cannot quote word to word, but something like, when you have a heavy problem in front of you, it's not one heavy problem, it's just a collection of small problems, a handful of small problems, and you can solve that taking one by one. And of course, our company can help with that as well. We have done a couple of moves already and transfers. So we have the process written down, because we used to, with our bridge, we launched the bridge just several years ago. So of course, we know how complicated it is to change the technology, if it's the bridging technology or if it's the platform technology. So we have the process of preparation, of checking the demo, of test transfer. If everything goes okay, then we do the full transfer, and then we have the plans if something is not right, if something goes wrong, how we reverse back to the initial stage or to the previous stage. So if you have a pen next to you, I just wrote down basically the stages. You can do that yourself as well, because this is the steps that you're following. You're preparing, you check what exactly you need to move, what is needed to the place where you're moving that, the responsible person. There is always should be just one responsible person, otherwise is no one responsible. And yeah, just step-by-step guidance of doing that. And if you feel that you don't have enough resources internally, our company and our technical team can help with that as well. Plus, we automate some of the processes.
So that would be your advice as to how to manage all of these platforms. I mean, that would be on how to implement a new one, which obviously I'm assuming, you know, if somebody has MetaTrader already, it's not like you can replace it, because it's still the favorite platform of traders across the globe. And like you were saying, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to disappear. It may become a little bit more strict, especially for new coming brokers. But it's not going to go anywhere. It's just maybe a little bit more of exclusive access, if I may say so. But how would you advise them to manage having more than one platform?
The best way would be to use our bridge, of course. Yeah, so, well, the one thing here, I will say some intro before that. Here is where the usability comes first, when we've been working in the company in a way to make the bridging software a very useful tool that you can use on a daily basis, and the tool that can help you. Of course, the more information, like if to give a general advice, the more information you can keep in one place, the better it is. And the easier visually you do that, the better it is as well. Because if you have, the problem starts if you have multiple places of information that are connected somehow, but you need to check 3-4 different things, then it easily can be lost. The settings should maybe will not be done easily. And yeah, the usability, how you handle it, is one of the things. Maybe some of the brokers have their own systems, but if you're using third-party platforms and bridge as well, it's better to go with an option that can show it to you in a convenient way in one place. So we know that the aggregation systems, like the same way that aggregation connects to all the liquidities that you want to have, the same with our bridge goes with the platforms. So you can have here, we've added those platforms, CTrader and MultiTrader, that we are connected and integrated with already. And we have external API that allows you as a broker to add another platform as well. So if you have your own platform that you developed, you can simply add it here in the system. Again, I will support him helps exactly how the API works. We have all the documentation, but the point is that you have all the platforms listed, you straight away have the connection to all the liquidity. So you don't need to do that one by one from each platform, and you can use the same connections and accounts that you have on the liquidity side. In terms of usability that I mentioned, here we have the list of the platforms. Again, it can be divided by the groups and accounts internally by different logic that we have, but to make it visibly more friendly, we have, sorry, that's Russian language. We have the search buttons that allows you to quickly find the platform that you need. And the same with the liquidity providers. And it, as you see, it cuts off all the other information that you don't need. For example, if you only need to have information of that specific platform and how it's connected. The same will go with the liquidity. You can just type in the liquidity and you will see all the accounts and platforms that are connected to that liquidity. So that simplifies the way. It's possible also to do the sub-accounts depending on how big diversity of the accounts of the trading platforms of the APIs that you have, because this also supports fixed API trading. If you're providing that, it will have multiple fixed API external accounts, and of course, own customizable platforms as well. So what makes it easy is that you have all the platforms, you have the aggregated liquidity, you can even create the same pool, and all of that will be in one place, which makes it super easy, super efficient as well within the time internally to do that, to manage with all that.
Mm-hmm. So I saw that in the very first part that you shared, there was a different technologies together with MetaTrader. I am wondering how does it work for somebody that has their own technology? Like if a broker really invested in saying, that's it, I've had it, I'm going to develop my own and I will have the others as backup, or I'm going to have MT4 as the main one, or MT5. And then if that doesn't, I'll have part my A-book on one, my B-book on the other one, or, how does it work for somebody that has their own platform?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for asking this question. So we have, this is the plus of having the private aggregation bridge as we have. It's not centralized in one place and everyone is connected. So you have your own private setup, you have full access to the database, to the inner settings, and you have the full API. So whatever is possible to do within this web interface, it's possible to set up from your platform. So there are two types of APIs, basically. One is just to integrate as a platform. Another is to write some smart risk management modules that you might have as a brokerage company on your side. So we usually sending the document, have dedicated technical specialist who is advising when there are questions, but it's possible to adapt the platform or the risk system or all together. And then in that case, the bridge just connects you with the liquidity provider and you have all the same, all in one place connection as we've just presented. So it gives the companies this flexibility and freedom they are looking for when they're going to with their own platform.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that a lot of people from our audience are suddenly thinking, maybe I should start looking into this if it's not so difficult to integrate. But what would you tell them are the pros and the cons to have your own technology?
To have your own technology, you need to be prepared that most likely it will take more time than you plan. It's to build your own platform, depending on the team size and the financial plan that you have. like the least would be 6 months, but that would be optimistic. If you are out rolling it out for the retail clients, you need to at least consider 1 year of full development plus the testing. You will have the surprises on the way. So the time, the resources, because you can't just have just normal average, developers. You need to have the CTOs or the team leads that's been doing something like that before. They have the relevant experience, they understand how the trading works, how all the instruments work, like what is it about, because this is very specific knowledge. And if you don't have anyone in the team with that knowledge, that will take you even more time. But of course, having someone within relevant knowledge will cost you more. And that leads us to the cost, because you can't really predict 100% when the project will be finished, when it will be ready to be deployed to and given to the customers. Then you need to think about the CRM as well, like if it will be linked to any of the existing, or you want to add up on the CRM. And this is another thing. You will be constantly thinking of additional things to add up. So you need to be careful to define what is the last thing when we say that this is ready. On the plus side, of course, if you have all that, if you're ready for all this challenge, it will give you the flexibility. You will have unique selling point. You will own the platform, and you will be able to present it and market it to the clients. It will give you the freedom of the time that you spend to add maybe new instruments, a new type of offers, because you will not depend on other parties. So it will be only depending on you. It doesn't mean it will happen faster, but you will have the sense of freedom and control of everything. But I think being in the industry now for 10-something years, when you have someone who've been working on product like that for 10 more years, like it's probably better to trust their advice and knowledge and rely on that.
Thank you, Albina. I think those are really, really good insights for our audience, and I'm sure they will value it a lot. I think this has been a very nice presentation and a very insightful discussion. I really thank you for sharing your opinion with us. Could you summarize what we have been discussing, the main point?
Of course. So, as I said, I would be very interested to know your opinion as well. I'm talking to the audience now, whom I will meet at the event the next week. What are your thoughts on the different platforms, on the future outcomes, and what brokers should do? I know that we have both brokers and the technology providers on the call as well, so it would be interesting to have your opinion and your thoughts about it. Our own summary of everything that's been happening, that more and more companies are interested to have multiple platforms. They want to have alternative options. They're looking the ways how to integrate it in one place and how to adapt multiple products. It started like long time ago with additional instruments, type of instruments. Now it goes to the products as well. So if you haven't done that yet, I think this might be a big opportunity for you as a brokerage company to look into alternative options and scenarios and what it can give you. Like, try to see it not from the problem point of view, but from the advantage and benefit, what you might be benefiting from that approach of having alternative platforms. And to summarize with what we at Tools for Brokers can help with, I will share my screen. So yeah, we have connection with different platforms. At the moment, you can see on the screen the logos and the names. They are all straightforward. We have added fixed protocol, fixed API connection externally when you're performing like active trading with the fixed API, and we have the margin engine, which can do the calculations by itself. It's a technical term, but the point is that if you have the trading strategy. We can basically do the accounting, do the balance storing, and so on our side. So it is possible to integrate with just fixed API or external API to our core and engine part. We, as a technology provider, help also to host it and locate in the right places, because this, with multiple platforms, with a bridge, with multiple liquidities, becomes a bit complicated system, and you need to know where to host it. As a technology company with a big support team and great support, we can help you and advise you where and how to locate them in a best way, so all of the traders are executed in the fastest speed and having the best trading experience. So that, I think you read the text, and for those who've been looking into the white label solutions, we are providing MetaTrader 5 solution with a full license and partial license. We are integrated and providing MetaTrader white label solution, which have, as an upside, have a very good CRM system that you can go with, and it makes it very easy. And CTrader, that is have multiple options how to sign up with them. Yeah, we can help with the setup of that platform as well. And as I said 4 times today already, looking forward to see those of you who will be in London the next week. Otherwise, if you are not there, we have offices and our teams in Singapore, in London, and Limassol. Anytime you are in the cities, just email us and we will be definitely meeting up with you and discussing more what we can do and how we can help.
Thank you so much, Albina. Thank you for summarizing. And if anybody wants to be in touch with Albina's team or with herself, as she was mentioning, next week, they're available. You can find them at the booth, or you can find their contact details from the presentation she had here. A small reminder to everyone that this webinar is recorded, so that if you have missed the beginning or the middle, or you have to leave early or something, it's okay. Don't worry, you will be able to view this afterwards. And you will get an email afterwards as well with the summary and everything. So we're going to go straight away to the Q&A. We're happy to get off all of your questions if there is any. We do have a first one to get started with. So Albina, are you talking about CeFi or DeFi? I think.
Can't recall now at what time it was, to which exactly topic it was.
I think it was, this one is a good question. I think, I'm actually not sure. It was at 3:20, so about 10 minutes ago. I'm not sure what part we were talking about. Maybe you want to.
It's about the platforms. So from the technical perspective, we can cover, because like the content.
Yeah, sorry, he just replied, Ivan. He said about the integration of platforms. He's referring.
Yes, so the content of it doesn't really make a difference, because we need to pass this information to words. So thank you. As we need to pass this information to words, we need to, with the existing API that we have, just need to check that they are compatible, the source and target information. Otherwise, we can add up something, but both should be working, because the way we built initially, because this functionality of having external API and options to add alternative platforms, we added from the time we started to build the bridge. So there is an open option and flexibility to add more certain type of platforms and more types of instruments and more types of liquidity. So all of it is possible.
Thank you. I hope that answered your question, Ivan. Any other questions? I think if nobody has any more questions, they probably have a lot to digest. One more coming. If I want to integrate with any other platform that is not TTrader or MT.
Yeah, you can use the same external API that we are providing. We normally have a technical person dedicated to the integration who would guide how exactly to integrate, because this is the API that integrates with the bridge, and you can, using this API, connect to the bridging system and integrate therefore with all the liquidity providers. So it is an open option and availability to connect whatever platform you have, whatever system you have, using this API.
Okay, one last question, and we're going to have to leave it there. How reliable is your integration of systems?
Like in English question, the questions that in English language, the questions I don't like is how reliable, because you don't really sure if you give it in a percentage or just a wide description. But answering the question, we have I like that question actually, because we have something to show to that. We have the monitoring system. We have advanced monitoring system that we built for ourselves, because we provide the white label solutions, and we needed to have something that constantly checks that all the systems, not only MetaTrader itself or the bridge, but the whole server is working finely and correctly. So we have this sophisticated, advanced solution that we built to ourselves. Plus, we have the separate technical team that checks that all the platforms, all the bridge clients that we have are up and running all the time. So we have the system that if there is a memory leak, if there is some error, and there is a lot of abbreviations of all different potential issues, they are notified that some of the levels are at the risk level. So we go and check even before the platform might stop or freeze or something else. So from the technical level and perspective, the development team, the technical support team, they are prepared with all these tools and products, and the teams who are 24/7, they are checking that everything is up and running.
So focused on prevention as well.
Yeah.
One last question I'm going to ask, and guys, we're going to have to leave it in here. How do we get the demo for a free trial? I'm so interested in your risk management solution.
Yeah, that's super easy actually. You can either text me on LinkedIn or the email sales@t4b.com. We will, with words that you're coming from the webinar, and one of our team members will contact you based where you're located, maybe from Cyprus, maybe from London or Singapore. They will contact you and arrange it, and we're very quick with that as well. So it's possible to do that within basically a couple of days or 1 week, that we can present it and install it on the demo.
Sounds good. Okay, there is more questions, but we're going to have to leave it at that. So all your contact details will be provided in the follow-up email. So in case of anybody missing your email, your website, your LinkedIn, your anything, that will be provided in the email. And Albina will be able to get in touch with all of you guys. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending the webinar. I hope that it was insightful and valuable, and that you got a lot of great ideas. And we look forward to seeing you all next week in London. Thank you, Albina.
Thank you, Andrea, so much. And thank you, everyone who joined the webinar today.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.